Welcome to Learn Tech Today English. Learn today, understand better, and succeed tomorrow.
Imagine you're driving a high-tech car. Your GPS starts glitching, loudly telling you to turn left right into a solid brick wall. What do? You just turn down the volume, right? Because you know it's a false alarm. That is ignoring. Now, imagine your engine warning light starts flashing bright red. Instead of pulling over, you just slap a piece of black tape over it so you don't have to look at it. That is suppressing. Welcome to Learn Tech Today English. Today we're breaking down a critical mental software update in this explainer, the massive, life-altering difference between safely ignoring your mind's chatter and dangerously suppressing your real emotions. If navigating your feelings feels, well, a bit complicated right now, it's going to become crystal clear by the end of this explainer. Let's jump right in. You see, we are human beings. We're not static AI robots like Sophia the humanoid. Sure, AI can beautifully mimic 50 different facial expressions and deliver a stunningly logical speech, but her responses are completely programmed. She's static. We, on the other hand, run on a highly dynamic operating system. We process billions of real sensory data points every single day, literally billions, and all that data generates rich, dynamic emotions. We aren't just running on basic code. We possess real intelligence and, more importantly, real feelings. Section 1. The Human Operating System. System update required.
Here's the thing. Our mental processing power is limited. Taking in all that emotional data means we absolutely have to filter our internal inputs to avoid a complete system crash. Today, we have to ask ourselves a critical question. When dealing with negative feelings, are you ignoring a fake alarm or are you suppressing a real fire? People confuse these two all the time. If you treat every random thought as a 5-alarm fire, your battery will drain and you will burn out. But on the flip side, if you bury real emotional damage, it silently corrupts your mental hard drive. One is a highly effective productivity hack, and the other, a dangerous recipe for disaster.
Section 2. Suppressing, a dangerous system override.
Okay, so let's talk about suppressing. This happens when we have a real valid emotional wound, but we forcefully bury it in our subconscious simply because we're too afraid to deal with it. It's like a hunter who illegally catches a wild jackal, sees a police officer coming, and stuffs the live animal inside his thick coat. He's standing there pretending everything is perfectly fine, while this wild animal is literally biting him underneath the coat. That jackal represents your real trauma, and the coat? That's your fake external smile. We try so hard to hide our emotional reality. It reminds me of that ancient story about a man who was told he had 2 weeks to live. He tried to cheat death by commissioning an identical wax statue of himself. When death arrived, he was actually confused for a second. But then death cleverly praised the statue's craftsmanship. The man's pride kicked in, he smiled, and boom, he instantly revealed his true human self to death. The conclusion here is absolute. You cannot cheat your emotional reality. We can try to mask our true feelings, but they'll always find a way to reveal themselves. So, what actually happens when we continuously suppress those feelings? Well, the source points out that burying trauma doesn't just magically delete the data. Instead, it runs in the background like malicious code. It's a complete system crash, often manifesting as clinical depression. It's subdued pain and wrath that, instead of being addressed, turns aggressively inward. Basically, masking true emotions instead of dealing with them is incredibly destructive to our mental hardware. Section 3. Ignoring smart data filtering. Now, in sharp contrast to suppressing, we have ignoring. This is a strategic, conscious choice to filter out meaningless mental chatter. It's exactly like muting a spam notification on your phone. You know it's there, but you just decide, nope, this doesn't require my energy. Think of your mind like a toddler throwing a dramatic tantrum just to get attention when absolutely nothing is wrong. If you constantly react to that toddler, what happens? You reinforce the bad behavior. You're basically saying, your tantrum worked, here's my attention. But if you actively neglect those fake alarms and the meaningless clutter your brain throws at you, you actually train your mind to quiet down.
The author gives us a perfect real-world example of this. So he was meditating on a rooftop in Mumbai, and he hears this child crying loudly in the distance. His mind immediately starts throwing a tantrum. Why is this happening? This is so annoying. Who is responsible for this noise? But instead of reacting to his mind's complaints, he consciously chose to act as a neutral observer. He couldn't change the sound, right? But he actively ignored his mind's reactive chatter. He let the meaningless distraction pass right by to protect his focus.
So let's break down the core difference. Suppressing is a fear-based block. It's letting that jackal bite you under your coat while pretending you're totally fine.
Ignoring, however, is a conscious, smart filter. It's actively neglecting the toddler's meaningless tantrum. To put it simply, ignoring a fake alarm is incredibly smart, but suppressing a real fire is a total disaster.
Section 4. Regulating mental chatter with 4 tech hacks. How do we actually execute this smart filtering? Well, here is your operating manual. 4 steps to quiet the mind. Step 1. Actively neglect the whining. Mute the tantrums and break that cycle of giving attention to bad behavior. Step 2. If a thought is persistent, note it down. Log those urgent thoughts on a notepad like you're logging system errors for a later review. This pacifies the mind's need to be heard. Step 3. Negotiate. Find a compromise with your mind's demands so you can maintain your focus. And finally, step 4. Be a neutral observer. Carve out time in your day to just monitor incoming data without analyzing, judging, or reacting to it. Just watch the data flow. This modern psychological approach actually aligns perfectly with ancient wisdom. Take this quote from the Bhagavad Gita. The mind wanders due to its restless and unsteady nature, and it is important to bring it back under our control by engaging the higher self. It beautifully states that our mind is restless, and we have to consciously bring it back under control. If we master these filtering techniques, our mind becomes our absolute best friend. But if we fail, it becomes our worst enemy.
Section 5. Feel, deal, and heal. The ultimate antivirus. But wait, what happens when we filter out the spam and realize we're actually dealing with a real virus? When we're hit with genuine trauma, a core system alert that we absolutely cannot and should not ignore, we must deploy the ultimate emotional antivirus protocol. The very first step is to feel. We have to correctly label our emotions using a highly detailed vocabulary. Psychologist Dr. Susan David points out that we need to shift from a generic error code, like just saying, "I'm angry," to identifying the exact bug in the system. Are you actually frustrated? Are you defensive? Expanding our emotional agility to precisely label the data is the crucial first step to fixing the glitch. Once we clearly identify and feel that precise emotion, we ascend to the deal phase. This is where we look at the root cause of the data and implement actionable steps, or maybe seek out the right professional help. And finally, we reach the top of the framework, heal. This is where we address the long-term emotional scars left behind by the trauma. And this brings us to a really powerful realization about the scars of the mind. Think of the fable of the little boy who was told by his father to hammer a nail into a wooden fence every single time he lost his temper. Over time, he learned to control his anger, and for every day he stayed calm, he got to pull one nail out. Eventually, all the nails were gone. He had dealt with the problem. But his father pointed to the fence and said, "The holes, the scars, remain forever." Even when we remove the nails by dealing with the problem, emotional wounds take serious time and patience to truly heal. Which leads us to this profound statement. Healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls our lives. We have to remember that healing doesn't mean just deleting the data that the damage occurred. You can't just wipe the hard drive of your past. Healing simply means upgrading our internal system so that the damage no longer controls our future operations. We acknowledge the holes in the fence, but we don't let them compromise our structural integrity.
So here is my final question for you to take away from this explainer. Will you continue to fight every random thought and let mental spam drain your battery? Or will you master your mental filters, confront your real emotional viruses using the Feel, Deal, and Heal protocol, and achieve unstoppable resilience? Remember, you are not a static robot running on basic code. You're a highly complex, dynamic human capable of deep awareness and growth. The choice of how you update your mental software is entirely up to you.